Richard lived in the same apartment complex as Nancy, just across the courtyard in a unit that provided a clear view directly into her apartment. At the time, he seemed like just another neighbor offering to help with the investigation. Richard came in with his roommate, and both men provided alibis for each other. Fred studied Richard carefully during the interview, looking for any sign of injury that might match the blood trail from Nancy's apartment. He found nothing visible. The man seemed cooperative, even helpful. There was no reason to suspect him more than any of the other hundreds of people they questioned. As months turned to years, the case grew cold. Fred retired, passing the file to younger detectives who would occasionally dust it off and review the evidence. The forensic technology of 1970 was primitive by later standards. Investigators could determine blood types but little else. The forensic evidence from Nancy's apartment told them someone had been wounded, but without advanced testing, it was just another piece of a puzzle with too many missing pieces. As the 1970s drew to a close, Nancy's case joined the growing stack of unsolved files that haunted police departments across the country. The initial burst of investigative energy had faded, and with no new leads emerging, detectives were forced to move on to fresher cases that demanded their attention. The file was transferred from active investigation to the cold case archives, where it would sit largely untouched for decades. Occasionally, a new detective would pull it out, review the evidence, and shake their head at the limitations of 1970s forensic science. The blood evidence that seemed so promising could only tell them basic information about blood type. The fingerprint analysis had yielded nothing useful. Without witnesses, without the murder weapon, and without any clear motive connecting the hundreds of people they had interviewed, the case seemed destined to remain forever unsolved. Nancy's family called periodically, hoping for updates that never came. Her fiancé, Ferris, tried to move forward with his life, but friends noticed he never quite recovered from the loss. The case that had once consumed the department's resources became just another tragic reminder of how some crimes simply slip through the cracks of justice. 35 years after Nancy's death in 2005, a determined detective named Mickey picked up the file. Something about Nancy's story captured her imagination and refused to let go. Here was a young woman with her whole life ahead of her, engaged to be married, working in the courthouse where Mickey herself spent her days. The injustice of it burned in her chest. Mickey had a crucial advantage that Fred and the original investigators never possessed: DNA technology. By 2004, just 1 year before Mickey took over the case, forensic science had advanced dramatically from the primitive blood typing available in 1970. The crime lab had finally developed a complete DNA profile from those crucial red drops left by Nancy's attacker, creating a genetic fingerprint that could potentially identify her killer.